Good morning, everybody. My name is Via, and I'm Club Elevated's president. So this week is National Red Ribbon Week, and throughout the week, we'll be having presentations focused on youth substance abuse prevention and mental health. So here's Kyle, who's going to start us off.
You've all heard this sound before. Normal for you to hear. Raise your hand if you would guess about 7% of ninth graders vape. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you think about 20% of ninth graders vape. And raise your hand if you think more than 30% of high schoolers vape.
According to the California Healthy Kids Survey, only about, 80% of high schoolers have never vaped before, which is pretty good and goes to show most people our age have never actually vaped before.
Like we said earlier, we are from Club Elevated, a club here on campus that focuses on substance use prevention and mental health awareness. We are honored to have Mr. Manuel with Say San Diego here to provide us with education about how vaping products not only impact our physical health, but our mental health.
Thank you, everybody. We're gonna do a Kahoot. If you can please get your phone or your laptop or whatever it is that you have and log in to kahoot.it, please. I want to share some data, some information, some local data here in San Diego on alcohol, tobacco, no drugs, right? We're gonna concentrate on tobacco and vaping. And the worst that can happen is that you teach me something, that you get a Jamba Juice gift card for the first 3 places, or that you learn something new, okay? If you have a question, please raise your hand. How long do we have? 40 minutes? Okay, so we're gonna start. Remember, look at the charts. Sometimes the answer is right in front of you, okay? Here it goes. So it's addiction, an important topic to talk about. It's simple, true or false. All right, we have 55 truths. Okay, so why do you think it's important to talk about addiction? Anyone? Yes?
Because it can help prevent future kids and us from getting addicted.
Thank you. So prevention. Can you speak up? Thank you. Through that. Anyone else? Well, truth is we're living in different times, right? Now we are dealing a lot with technology. And the industries are basically taking advantage of that. It's not only the technology that is used, but actually the technology used to make these new products that we're seeing in the market. When I was in high school about 30 years ago, about 30% of us smoke back then, right? 30 years later, 6% of you guys are smoking now. However, e-cigarettes came to change the game totally within the last 5 years. So we're talking about the Risk Youth Assessment Survey that you guys took in 2019 shows that 41.4% of you guys vape at one point, right? So that's 4 in every 10 of you have used this and this product, right? We're gonna learn about who vapes more, women or men, or teens, female teens or men. Next question. If this thing only works, let's see. So what drugs are most used in San Diego high schools? Again, this comes from the Risk Youth Assessment Survey. Nicotine, Vicodin, weed, alcohol, nicotine and weed, fentanyl, alcohol, and cocaine. Nicotine, alcohol, or cocaine. What do you guys think? All right, the majority of you got it right. Right? These are the 3 most used drugs in local schools. Next question. How many kids are addicted to alcohol in the U.S.? What do you guys think? 250,000, 4 million, 1,450,000, 100. All right, according to the CDC, there are about 8 million people who are addicted to alcohol in the U.S. And 25% of those 4 million are teens. Do you think that it's a problem? 4 million kids using alcohol pretty much every day, yes. Question? Yeah, sorry about that. I checked that in the morning and because I duplicate a slide. If you see something that does not make sense, just ignore it. How many youth smoke marijuana daily in San Diego high schools? Again, for the Risk Youth Assessment Survey, 16.4%, 2.3, 8.8, or 25.9%. %16.4%. So from every 100 of you, 16 smoke marijuana every day, right? So how many kids have died from fentanyl overdoses in San Diego? What do you guys think? 6, 12, 8, or 25? All right, so about 12 youth have died within the last 2 years from opioid or fentanyl overdose. Now, these were not, these were deaths that they were not actually, they were accidental, right? Kids were either eating something, smoking something, or vaping something that they didn't know they were vaping. It's gonna be a point in time that you're gonna be at that party, you're gonna be at that concert, you're gonna be somewhere, and someone is going to offer you that. Think twice. Think twice when you go to the corner and you buy an e-cigarette, either it's marijuana or nicotine or something. These are laced with fentanyl. You have to be very, very careful about that. Drug dealers don't care about anything. They use fentanyl because that will get you hooked like this, right? And then you cannot stop. The cycle of addiction starts. We're gonna talk about more about that, but since we have the time limited, let's keep going. So how many people die a year from tobacco consumption? This is an easy one. 45,000, 450, 480,000, or 4,500,000. So 480,000 people die a year from tobacco consumption. How do we know these numbers? What do you guys think?
Probably finding the bodies.
Say what?
Probably finding the bodies.
Found in bodies? Okay. What is the first question you are asked when you go to the doctor? Do you smoke? Do you vape? Next time you go, pay attention, right? That's how they collect the data. If you report that you start vaping at 12 or at 14, and by 44 you get a aneurysm, a brain attack, or a heart attack or something, and you have that history, right? Either if you smoke, whatever you eat, and if you don't exercise, those are the three causes or the three behaviors that we can't control, and that avoids early death. Okay, next question. So multi-select, you have more than one answer. What's the worst that can happen if I vape? Nothing happened, and I'm 100% safe. I might get addicted, and my brain chemistry might change. My little sister can get poisoned. Or I might get OD mixed with art or synthetic drugs like fentanyl. So there's still two of you that you believe that this thing does not do anything to you. We don't know the long term vaping. What is the health consequence for vaping? But we do know that if you abuse it, it will destroy your lungs within less than a year. We have about 100 people here in the city of San Diego, or the county of San Diego, who ended up with severe lung damage. They started in juuling. This champion of us, he said that in high school he will get the two joules and then just heat it, and then just get that high from the nicotine and from doing that. Then he started smoking marijuana. Then the family dynamic broke, right? So he said, okay, what do I do so my parents are not upset? He went to the legal dispensary, started buying e-cigarettes with THC. Within 4 months, his lungs were destroyed. He ended up 9 days in coma, right? So again, this is abuse. If you vape every now and then it might take years for you to get affected. But that's basically what happened. It's called E-Valley. You have a question? You were just raising your hand. Say what? Can you speak up? What did he say?
How would your little sister get poisoned?
Oh, okay. So thank you very much for pointing these out. Tell me one positive thing about vaping. Those two guys that responded that nothing, I'm safe. What is positive? No? Okay. So in terms of poisoning, there are about 6,000 calls a year to the American Poison Control Center. Half of those are kids under 6 that they were poisoned with electronic juice. If you vape, that is super concentrated. Nicotine was made about 120 years ago to kill bugs as an insecticide. That's how it was used, right? So when you put it in a concentrate and your little sister or brother or whoever comes along and finds it and it smells like chocolate and they drink it, what do you think is going to happen? Poison control, right? You're going to have to call them. She's going to start having convulsions. Her eyes are going to go backwards like eggs, right? And then she's going to start vomiting and all that good stuff. You can die from that, right? Now, again, there's a lot of confiscations of e-cigarettes at high schools. When they look at these products, they found that especially the ones that they have THC are laced with fentanyl. Again, these products are made in a garage, someone's garage, just doing the whole thing, whether they're pills, e-cigarettes or other drugs, they mix it with fentanyl. And then, of course, if you get addicted, the first thing that's going to happen is going to affect your brain. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how, or what is the biology of the brain, how does that work in 1 minute. Next question. Do you currently smoke cigarettes? Yes, no, only if I have a party or every now and then. All right, so the majority of you do not smoke. The reason why we're asking this question is so you know that we support both smokers and non-smokers, right? If, for example, if you live in an apartment complex in a condominium and your neighbor smokes cigarettes or marijuana and you get the secondhand smoke, you come to me and then we'll talk about it. We'll figure out how to help with that, right? We do that type of advocacy. If you smoke and you want to stop and you need resources, same. Come here and then we'll guide you a little bit about how you can stop smoking or vaping. It is not too late, especially if you just started smoking or vaping. Once the brain develops and nicotine and other drugs are intertangled with your brain cells, then it's very, very hard to quit, right? We're going to talk a little bit more about that. So next question, multi-select, double points. Do you currently vape? Yes, no, only when my friends invite me to do so, or I tried a couple of times in the past. These are not right or wrong questions, just answer them. So you'll see that 30 of you have tried in the past, right? Well, remember what the data was from the Risk Youth Assessment Survey that I said earlier. How many kids in the San Diego Unified School District have vaped in the past? 41.4%, right? So here it's a little less. Then only with somebody invite me 30, 61 no, and 32 yes, they vape. I don't know, these numbers are a little off, but
People are doing it because the more answers you selected, the more points you got.
so why do people have a hard time quitting smoking? So it's a tricky question. Tobacco is addictive. Nicotine is addictive. The brain chemistry has changed, or quitting smoking is easy. I've done it a few times. So nicotine is addicted and your brain has changed, your brain chemistry. Any questions? The nicotine in tobacco is the active drug, right? Okay, next question, multi-select. How does nicotine and other drugs affect your brain? So it mimics chemicals already in our brains. It takes the place of chemicals in our brains. It prevents the brain from sending messages to our bodies. And it changes our brain chemistry. So all of the above, right? So this is what happens in the brain. You have millions of neurons and neurotransmitters and receptors, right? These are communicating. Every time they use any type of drug, doesn't matter if it's marijuana, alcohol, tobacco, the chemical, like in this example, the acetylcholine is a natural chemical in the brain that will merge with the brain receptor. What happens is when you smoke or when you vape and the nicotine comes in, it will displace that chemical, that natural chemical in your brain, and it will just basically trap it. Within a couple of hours, the effect goes away, and then you vape again, and the brain starts communicating again. You're basically a supercomputer in your brain, right? You're like tracing everything that you have. Now, what happens is that these drugs will give you pleasure, right? Right now, at this point in your life, the brain, it's all about rewards. Even when you're a kid, you learn that food is good for you, right? When you smoke and that chemical gives you that pleasure, it will basically trick your brain, making it think it's okay, right? So you like it, and then the brain receptors start asking for more, and more, and more, and more, and more, to a point that that chemical will be displaced instead of having the natural acetylcholine. Now, this chemical is very important for your brain, so you can pay attention, you can learn memory, and affects other areas of your brain like mood, like the mood that you're on you feel like you're on. Okay. Next question. Who owns electronic cigarette companies? Juul, the government, tobacco companies, or independent owners? So tobacco companies, they're taking over and over the e-cigarette companies. Why? They've been in business for 200 years, right? They have a lot of money. Back in early 2000s, the tobacco industry tried to introduce the e-cigarette and totally failed. And about 10 years later, another person came along, and then Juul came along, right? Juul, in 2019, they have to attend Congress to respond about how did they target kids. They did an amazing job. The tobacco industry spends, for every dollar that we spend in public health or prevention, they spend $17, so they get to you, right? Juul did something that nobody thought that they were going to do. They use youth to promote and market among themselves, right? And that's how the e-cigarette youth epidemic came along. In 2019, the FDA declared this as an e-cigarette youth epidemic. There are over 10,000 flavors of vape juice. True or false? True. About 5 years ago, there were more than 15,000 flavors. And what happened next was that the FDA finally did something about it, and they prohibited about 7,000 of them, 6,000 flavors. But the tobacco industry, they can make any flavor you want. Just think whatever flavor you like. From Tosti Locos to chocolate cake to unicorn poop. Who has tried the unicorn poop e-cigarette? That sounds very weird, but I'm sure it has some flavors here. So the video is not available. Okay, so true or false? Juul offers nicotine-free pods. So false. Remember the first question, is this topic important to learn? Yes, the tobacco industry knows one thing. The more ignorant you are, the most likely you will start using whatever it is, alcohol, tobacco, or anything else, right? So knowledge is power. The more you know what happened, the risk that happened, then the better you decide if you want to get involved in something like this. Next question. The nicotine in 1 Juul pod is equal to about how many packs of cigarettes? 1.25 packs, 3 packs, 1 pack, or half a pack of cigarettes? The answer is right in front of you. If you already answer, so 1.25 pack of cigarettes worth of nicotine. Now there are other products like Sorin. I'm going to show you this media here. You'll see the Sorin right here in the bottom right. It looks like a mouse. This is a 2 ml cartridge, and it is worth about 3 packs of cigarettes. Then the 1 Juul pod is 1.25 and 20 cigarettes in 1 pack of cigarettes. Juul pods only contain nicotine, flavorings, and water vapor. True or false? So it's false. So the lungs are made for what? To breathe oxygen, right? Nothing else. And if there's anything that we get as for medication, they have to go for long trials, sometimes 3, 4, 5 years, to see what are the effects in the lungs. The e-cigarette industry came along and they just bypassed that. No problem, right? And now we have millions of kids addicted. We have thousands of people getting severe lung damage. So what is the difference in terms of chemicals in e-cigarettes and cigarettes? The active drug, nicotine is in it, right? Acetone. Ladies, you use acetone for what? Nail removals, right? Ammonia. What is ammonia? Just to clean toilets, right? Arsenic, another acid. Cadmium, that comes in batteries. Carbon monoxide. Lead. And lead is, all these are heavy metals too, right? Now the difference, it's one is you smoke it, so it's combustion. The other one, it's vapor that we know now that is not. It's both water and chemicals in it. So it's it has also glycerin and propylene glycol. These 2 ingredients, you have to take them all your life without probably even knowing it. Who know where you drink these products? Whoever gets sick, every time you get sick and you get any liquid medication, it comes with glycerin or propylene glycol, or both. And then, of course, it has flavoring that is directly related to cancer. Multi-select question, double points. How are young people targeted to get them to start vaping? So what the industry do, they change the social norms. They market to you, and they use flavors. What do you guys think? So all of the above. Again, the tobacco industry knows that the more ignorant you are, the more they can change that perception, right? The first thing Juul did was changing the social norm. So basically, it's on social media. You see it every day. You get all these TikToks, and then it gets normalized. You walk outside, you walk to the corner, and there's a smoke shop, or a cigar lounge, or a hookah lounge, or there's a gas station, or a liquor store, and then you keep walking, and that you just see all that, right? Especially on big avenues. These products get normalized. If you pay attention the next time you go to a grocery store or to a gas station, when you open the door, the tobacco marketing or the jewel marketing, it's right there. So it's eye level to kids, right? So you start getting that normalized since you are a child. And then, again, doesn't matter where you look, they have, they market and they have posters. You're putting gas, you look up, they have the offers for the cigarettes or the e-cigarettes. They normalize it. Then they market. Again, the tobacco industry just spends millions and millions of dollars in marketing, not only in product design, but again, they create now, there's free-base nicotine, and now it's salt-based, which is comes in Juul. And salt-based, they basically added salt to it. What salt does to the nicotine or to the e-juice, it's absorbed faster. Next time that you stain your shirt or something, just put some water or some lime and a bunch of salt, and you'll see how the salt will absorb that. Same thing. Now, I don't know why they do that, because when you smoke, within 7 seconds, when it gets to your lungs, it goes back to your brain. But what do you guys think? What do they use that? So you get addicted faster, right? That's the whole game. Do tobacco companies specifically target teens? Yes, no, or not purposely? So, yes. These are a couple of quotes from Philip Morris. This is the Marlboro Man. Today's teenagers, tomorrow's potential regular customer. And the overwhelming majority of smokers first began to smoke while still in their teens. The smoking patterns of teenagers are particularly important to Philip Morris. Right? So again, they know that the younger you start vaping, smoking, or using, the harder and harder it becomes when you try to stop. Next question. Who vapes more, female teens or male teens? What do you guys think? Boys, definitely. Or young women do? Young women do, based on that Risk Youth Assessment Survey. Again, this survey is taken every other year. In 2019, 33% of 11th graders, female students, reported vaping 30 days before taking this survey, right? Now, do you think this is coincidence, or is just that just women are taking more risk? What do you think that is? Think about it. Who is the target audience with these ads? High schoolers, college kids, adults, or middle schoolers? So high schoolers, college kids, and middle schoolers. And so you understand, again, how the tobacco industry operates. Do you recognize any of these women right here? They look like someone very famous. The woman on the left. Who knows Ariana Grande? Okay, Ariana Grande, 5 years ago, she received a Grammy. Same picture, same ponytail, same position. The only thing they did is they put the jewel and they took the Grammy off their hands, right?
Isn't that against their, like, I think that's like waiting for a lawsuit against them.
He's saying that this is like they're waiting for a lawsuit, right? So what happened? What did I say about 3 years ago? Congress, they have to go to Congress and then explain, right? So they banned all flavor from Juul at that point in time. So there were consequences. But Juul was not only doing these stuff, they were also like going to schools, giving scholarships, paying for everything and anything for sponsorships, sports, any events, concerts, name it. So again, they're like mold, right? They just get, you don't even know, and then they're everywhere. Now, the woman on your right-hand side, about in I think it was 2015, there was a shootout in Parkland in Florida, right? A lot of kids died at that point. There were about 5 students that came gun activists, right? Gun control activists. And one of them was Emma Gonzalez from the LGBTQ plus population. Within less than a week, they came out with this marketing material, right? So again, the tobacco industry will not only aim, but they will take advantage of whatever is happening in the world or in your backyard, right? To market these products and then get you to vape. This is nothing new. In the early 1900s, the tobacco industry used doctors, dentists to promote their cigarettes, right? Saying, oh, this has filters and it's so healthy for you and you're gonna look so interesting and blah, blah, blah. And then the 60s the same thing, 80s the same thing, and then they're doing the same now with these cigarettes. Yes?
With, I guess, these famous people, don't they have a right to who they are in their face in this case?
They are, but when they're using someone that it just looks like you, this doesn't matter, right? What you have to think about here is, who do you think these marketing pieces are directed to? Who?
I guess younger people.
Women, young women. Now, they claim that this is for adults and for smokers to quit smoking. Does any of these look like it's directed to all farts that smoke and want to quit? No, right? Again, it is obvious who they're targeting. Next question. Multi-select. Okay. We have 2 more questions. So what does nicotine addiction look like? So now you began to smoke cigarettes. You feel irritable and restless. You may feel depressed if you cannot vape, or you repeatedly try to stop, but you can, and you get frustrated. All right, so all of the above. There is a couple of triangulations with addiction. Here we see what happens in the brain. We talk about dopamine and how that cycle goes, right? It's an overflow of dopamine, so you get, you feel very, it gives you a lot of pressure, so that's the reason you get addicted to it. So, we are at the end of the presentation. If you win, please come here. Do not delete. Show me that you win to give you that Genius All congratulations. Number first place, second place, Polite Hog, and third place, Gentle Panther. Thank you, folks.